What's up, Damari? Damari, is my screen sideways? Can you still see? What's up, Atreyu? You can still see. It's not difficult to see anything. Okay. Because like the tripod I have is only can hold my camera sideways. So okay. Well, we'll do it like this today. I have a new tripod coming. I ordered it, so I'm gonna make sure that you all don't have to do anything crazy. All right, so I'm going to give it a couple minutes for everybody to get in, and then I am going to get started. I'm going to pull up the Do Now in just a minute. If you want to join me in Teams, you can join me in Teams. I know both of you have access. We're going to be going over source C from our packet. So make sure you have that. We're also going to do a quick overview of source A with the summary and source, what's the other source? Source B. Hey, Rihanna.
Hey, Miss Thompson.
How are you?
Good.
Awesome. Hey, Alexis. Hey, Miss Eastside. Sorry, my phone sideways. I'm just, I'm trying to do it with the tripod so my hands are free. It's different. It's difficult, but I'm trying to make it work. I have a new tripod coming. I ordered it yesterday. Hopefully, it'll be here in a couple days, but we'll see. So I'm gonna start sharing my screen. I'm going to come in and out so I can check on people. I missed a lot of people in our session on Tuesday, so I don't want to do that again today. Let me get up to our Do Now. Rihanna, I'm going to have your screen up in just a minute. Okay, let's do this. All right, so your Do Now is who controls a command-oriented economic system and what is one advantage and disadvantage. And you can put it in the comments. Hey, Shania. Brooklyn, welcome. And if you're looking at me on Teams, I'm sorry, I'm turning my head. My phone is sideways. I'm sorry, my phone is sideways. Again, the tripod, it's really weird. Okay. But I want to make sure everybody can see the screen. So, yeah. So go ahead and put it in the comments or the chat if you're on Teams, your answer to the Do Now question. Who controls a command-oriented economic system? Huh?
Put it in the chat.
Yeah, go ahead and put it in the chat.
Okay.
This is based on the source we went over on Tuesday. And if you're in live, you can join Teams if you like.
I put mine in the chat.
Cool.
My answer in the chat.
Cool. We're gonna go over it in just a minute. This is bothering me. I'm sorry, my people on Instagram. I am going to take this out of the tripod. That's my tripod. I don't like it. So I'm going to do it a normal way. I'm going to hold it in my hand, which sucks, but, whatever. So go ahead and put in the chat.
Is my answer right?
I haven't looked at it. So when I'm sharing the screen, I can't see the chat.
Okay.
Yeah, but I'm going to pull it out once we get going.
I just want to have somebody answer the question. If you do it, can I answer it?
Yeah, I'm gonna go over your answer and everything.
Okay.
You real excited, Rihanna? You miss being in school?
Yes.
I miss seeing y'all, man. Even though y'all used to mess with me all the time and bother me. All right, so once it hits 1 o'clock, we're gonna start talking about the do now, and we're gonna literally start at the top of the packet at the very beginning, where you're supposed to do the summary. Being annoying is fun for you, Atreyu. Hey, Miss Drayford Island. Hey, Michaela. If I'm missing somebody in the on Teams, I'm about to call you and say hello to you specifically. I'm just sharing my screen. All right, so I'm going to stop sharing just so I can check. Nope, it's just you and me, Rihanna. I'm going to check your chat. Okay, that's the first question. Why you didn't answer the second question? Hey, Miss McGill. You didn't answer the second question, Rihanna. All right, so our do now refers to what we talked about on Tuesday. If you want to go ahead and put it in the chat, we can start talking about it. When we looked at a command-oriented system, which is also called a command system, all right, who makes the decisions? Who makes the decisions? Go ahead and put your answer in the chat. Put it in the comments. And then one advantage and disadvantage. What's a positive about a command system? And what's a negative about the command system? Go ahead and put that in the chat. Put it in the comment box. Hey, Zamaya. I think that's Zamaya. Go ahead and put your answer to the two questions in the comment box. Damari has his answer. Rihanna's answered on Teams. Who makes the decision? Who controls the command-oriented economic system? Rihanna, what was your answer to that first question? Who controls it?
My answer was the government.
The government. The government makes the decision about command economic systems. Command systems are made by the decisions are made by the government. Okay, Alexis, we're still on week 4. The social studies week 4 and week 5 are the same packet. Week 4 and week 5 are the same packet. Welcome, Trevante and Lanaya. All right, so we just answered our first question. Rihanna answered our first question. Who controls a command-oriented economic system? And that would be the government. The government makes those decisions. We had a little bit of a taste of a command-oriented economic system when the president instituted the Defense Production Act. All right, the government told the companies what they had to make, and it basically was medical supplies. It was the supplies for personal protective equipment and ventilators.
The second question inside of the chat box.
Okay, I'm going to pull it up in just a second. Welcome, Miss Harvey. So that the United States is not a command-oriented economic system. That Defense Production Act has actually only been put in place twice. And the government, using that Defense Production Act, was able to tell companies they had to stop what they normally make in order to take care of an issue that the country had. The only other time that it was invoked was in World War II to make military equipment. All right. So we are not a command economic system, but a command economic system. Decisions are made by the government. I'm going to stop sharing for just a moment. Welcome, Zainel. All right. So the second question was an advantage and a disadvantage. Okay. Making production, a lack of competition. All right, so I'm going to share again. So that second question, what's one advantage and disadvantage? The command-oriented economic system they make sure that a lack of production, Rihanna put that a lack of production was a lack of production of enough goods for everybody. That's definitely a disadvantage. They are broken up. What do you mean by that, Damari? They are broken up. I'm going to give Damari a chance to clarify his answer in the chat. If you want to go ahead and put the comments, put another response to this second question, an advantage and a disadvantage for a command system. Okay. While Damari is going to come back, I am actually going to go down to our graphic organizer from Tuesday. All right. We're going to look at this graphic organizer. The graphic organizer is on page 8. Welcome, Zion. Page 8. The graphic organizer is on page 8. This is going to be the right side, the command-oriented economic system. All right. The same questions for both. But the command-oriented economic system is also called a command economy. Rihanna mentioned that she thinks the government makes the decisions, and they do. The goal is to meet people's needs with goods, equal access for people in the country to those goods. A negative goal might be people trying to make money or profit off of a command system. And another goal might be military production, right? They want to make sure that they want to tell people they have to make military goods, whether that be arms or tanks or, let me get that, or anything like that.
What week are we working on?
We're working on week 4. Week 4. I'm going to show you what it looks like in just a minute. All right. So the advantages is that it creates jobs for people. All right. And it creates fair access to resources and services. All right. It creates fair access to resources and services. The disadvantages, it's often difficult for the government to give out the resources properly. And it's easy for people who lie or cheat to take advantage of the system. All right. So those are the advantages and disadvantages of the command system. OK, any questions? Any questions from the people in the chat? No. All right. So what I want to do is I just want to do a quick recap. And again, this kind of calendar is going to be on IG. It's also going to be in Canvas. And I'm going to post it in Teams. All right. And this is the breakdown of this packet. So week 4 and week 5. Week 4 started on Monday. Week 5 will end next Friday. Next Friday is May 1st. Next Friday is May 1st. That's going to end the week, all right? And that's going to be the end of the packet. I'm just going to focus on the top part of this. So you should have read the article on page 3, which we'll talk about in just a moment, and review. Should have read that on your own and written a tweet summary on page 4, all right? Remember, a tweet summary is a summary that's 280 characters or less, all right? So you're supposed to read it. We talked about it a little bit on Tuesday, but we're going to talk about it more today. That article on page 3, source A. All right. I put that I wanted it due by today just so you could knock out some of the work so you can keep pace so that you're not working at the last minute to try to get everything done. Source B is the source we did on Tuesday together. We read and annotated source B, all right? And then we started filling out our graphic organizer on page 8 with the source B, all right? So we did that together on the 21st, which was Tuesday. I would have liked you to read source C on your own and worked on that middle column of the graphic organizer on page 8. If you didn't, no problem. We're going to go over it a little bit today together. All right. But you want to make sure you get it done by tomorrow so you don't have to stress about trying to get it in last minute. The last thing that you'll be taking care of this week is the because, but, so sentence completion. That's going to be on the same page as the graphic organizer. All right. Once we finish today, I want you to go ahead and knock that out for a homework assignment. I'll remind you in the Teams. I'll also put access to it on Canvas. I'll put access to Canvas. Welcome, Ms. Bennett. I'm going to put access to it on campus, but I want you to make sure you have it done by next Monday, because next Monday we're going straight into Source D. We're going straight into Source D, which is another article. It's an article about economics. So the bottom half we'll talk about more next week. But again, this whole kind of calendar will be on Instagram. It'll be on Canvas, and it'll be in Teams, just so you have access to it. If you have any questions, go ahead and put it in the comments. If you're in Teams, I can't see the chat box while I'm sharing my screen, so feel free to unmute yourself if you need to. Welcome, Kenya. All right, so I am going to walk you through something that I want you to have access to. Rihanna, can you see the Google on my screen?
Yes.
Okay, so I've been putting material in Canvas. I know I haven't done a good job. Oh, you know what? I'm not recording. I need to record this meeting. Okay, so I'm sorry I missed part of this, but we are going to work on that. Let me share my screen. All right, so I've been putting material in Canvas, and I'm just going to walk you through how to get to Canvas. So when you open a tab, or you can Google search, just like everything else, we access our materials through Clever. And you can search Clever DCPS. That first option is going to be the one for our school. Click on Clever DCPS. And I know I'm walking through some of the problems, some of the issues that we've done before. I just want to make sure everybody has access. You'll sign in under your name. Your login is going to be your student number, and your password, your birthday, just like everything else. When you get into Clever, I have stuff favorited at the top. If you don't have it favorited, you're going to scroll down to the distance learning. Hey, Zanel.
What's up, Michelle? I couldn't hear you.
You can hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, so when you get into Clever, you want to go to the distance learning channels. You have Office 365. That's where your Teams is going to be. That's where your Teams folder is going to be, and you can get logged straight in. It's also your email address. Everybody has an email address in Microsoft.
Yep.
Okay. So you can go to Office 365, which is where Teams will be. But what I'm trying to show you today is Canvas. If you log into Canvas, you should get a dashboard. You will not have one that looks quite like mine, but you're going to have all your classes. You're going to have all your classes in kind of on your dashboard. All right. So if you go to my class, it's going to say World Geography and Cultures. I'm just going to click on my first period, but every class has the same thing. Actually, I didn't put anything in that one. But there's going to be a module called Unit 6 Module Europe. If you click it, it has the video from Tuesday. So if you missed Tuesday, you'll be able to see it here. I'm going to have all of the materials in this folder. So if you go to Unit 6 Module Europe, you'll have access to everything you need. Okay? Any questions?
Nope.
No questions? All right. So that is going to be a good source for you. All right. I'm going to have all the videos. I'm going to upload all the videos to our Canvas page, and along with all the resources you need, such as the calendar that I just shared with you all. If you go to Office 365, I know some people ask me for access to some of the stuff, but Office 365, when you go to the login page, you should get a screen like this. Your email is going to be Outlook. If you click Outlook, it'll give you all the email, and you can email your teachers from there. Most of your, hey, go ahead, whoever's in Teams, go ahead and mute for me.
All right.
All right. So Outlook is going to be your email. Everybody has an email through Outlook. That's your official school email. And you should be able to send anybody anything. The other piece is going to be Teams. That's where you can get copies of everything. So if I click Teams, it'll come up eventually. I'm not going to join our Teams meeting, but you'll see distance learning. You might have the one that you're going to be most interested in is 6th grade distance learning classes. Let me click that. And this is where all your stuff is. This is where all your stuff is. Okay. If you go to files, if you go to general and you go to files, it'll have all the class materials for your classes. I don't think I put it in this one yet, but I will put it in our class today.
Mr. Hamilton.
Yes.
I have a question.
Absolutely.
How do you do the assignments on Teams? Like, is it like a page or something like that they let you write on? Because it's difficult for me to do.
So with Teams, it's kind of difficult in general to do it, to do assignments. So most of your teachers have put like links in there. So like links to Edulastic, different things like that. The best thing to do is to actually download the packet onto your phone, so you can see it. And if you want to write it on your own page, you can. But unless you have Word, it's kind of difficult to do. You can download Word for your phone, like the app Microsoft Word for your phone, and then you can kind of type into it. But if you don't have a computer, it'll be difficult to use. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So if you download Word and then you open the files, you should be able to see it. And I'll go ahead and I'll also put everything in Hamilton's folder. I'll put all the information, all the packets, everything in the same folder. So you can get it from here or you can get it from Canvas.
Okay.
Cool. All right. Any questions? Give me some likes if you understand what you're supposed to do, just so I can know you understand before I move on and get into the material, because I want to make sure you have everything you need, even if you don't have a packet. I'm just looking, just so I want to get some thumbs up or some likes, just so I know you're prepared, because I don't want to leave you hanging and confused about class today. Nobody understands. Does everybody on Teams understand?
Yes.
Okay. So,
Yes.
awesome. So I'm going to go ahead and get back into our classwork. Okay. So on Monday or on your own, you're supposed to read that article, Source A. And the title of Source A is 3 Questions About Economics. All right. Rihanna, can you read the first question from that article? It's on you. Oh, am I not sharing? I'm not sharing.
No.
Sorry. All right, now I'm sharing.
What goods and services should be produced?
What goods and services should be produced? That's the first question from the first article. When you're talking about economic systems, that's the first question that gets asked. Kenya, can you read our second question from the article?
How should the goods and services be produced?
How should the goods and services be produced? That's the second question that gets asked when you're talking about economic system. And Zainel, what's our third question that's on the screen?
Who will benefit from or get the goods and services?
Who will benefit from or get the goods and services? That's the third question that gets asked when you're dealing with economic systems. So our vocabulary from that first article is productive resources. And that's going to be all the natural resources, the capital resources, meaning the funding, and the human resources. Human resources are the people that make the goods. All right. So you all get everything you eat starts at a farm. The farmers who work on the farm are the human resources that are used to make food. Make sense?
Yes, like fruits and stuff.
Any person that touches or is a part of the process of making goods or providing services is a human resource. Yes. So when we deal with education, your teachers are the human resources. Your administrators are the human resources. So when you're talking about human resources, it's any people that are involved. Okay? The second vocabulary term, scarcity, right? There's a limited amount of resources, right? So there's not enough resources for every person in the world to have 100 pairs of shoes, right? It's just not enough resources to make sure everybody has that. If you do, you start impacting other systems. So scarcity is the amount of resources that you have. Cool?
Yeah.
Zainel, mute for me. All right. The third vocabulary is economies. There's only 3 types of economies. Traditional, we didn't talk about traditional, but traditional is the bartering system. I give you something, you give me something. All right. If I have some candy and you have a pencil, I need a pencil in class. You give me a pencil, I'll give you some of my candy. It's a bartering system. All right. We talked about command systems on Tuesday. Command systems means the government tells companies what to make and how much gets made and where it goes. We'll talk about market systems today, market economies today. We'll talk about market economies today. And then mixed economies. There's very few economies that have only traditional, only command, or only market economies. So most economies are mixed economies. They have some combination of these 3 economies. Okay? So there's only, that's our vocabulary from that first assignment. Let me get back to, I'm going to share my screen in just a moment. Let me get back to it. So that's this first source. So source A, 3 economic questions. That's the one you're supposed to do a tweet summary of. Okay, so make sure you're doing that before next week. That's source A. We read source B together on Monday on page 5. And then we filled out the left side of this graphic organizer on Tuesday. Today, we're going to look at this middle column. Cool? We're not going to do the whole thing, but we're going to get started on it. Okay? So I'm going to need some help from my people in Teams. If anybody would like to
Yes.
join in on live, you can. Brooklyn, you already did it. So if you want to join me on live so you can help us figure out some of it, you can do that. Would you like to join me on live? All right, so I have my people on Teams. I'm trying to get Brooklyn to join me on live, but we are going to do the same thing we did on Tuesday, but with the article about market-based economic systems.
Hello.
Cool.
Like farmers.
What?
Never mind.
So you remember we read the article on Monday about market-based systems?
Who, me?
Well, I'm talking to Zainel right now, Brooklyn. But thank you for joining us.
You welcome.
So we talked about command-based systems on Tuesday. Today we're going to talk about market-based systems. So your article is going to be found on page 6 and page 7. So if you have your packet, go ahead and go to page 6 and page 7. I'm going to make this big so everybody can see it. So there's, I think, 11.
You said page 6 and page 7?
Page 6 and page 7 is the market-based economic systems article. So we're going to go through that with the time that we have. We're not going to get through the entire article. We're not going to get through the entire graphic organizer, but we are going to get started on it. Cool. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with paragraph 1. We're going to go through. I'm going to annotate by highlighting the screen. I'm going to have somebody join. Let me see who I have. I'm going to have somebody on Teams read our paragraph, and then I'm going to have Brooklyn help us add information to our graphic organizer from this paragraph.
Can I read it?
I don't know who said it. Who said that? Brooklyn?
No.
Oh, who is that? Kenya? Or Rihanna?
Rihanna.
All right, so Rihanna's going to read paragraph 1, and then we're going to annotate as we go.
Paragraph 2.
We're going to start on paragraph 1 right now. We'll figure that out when we get there. Okay, Zainel?
All right.
What you can help me do is tell me anything that we need to annotate. So anything we need to highlight that's going to help us fill out the chart on page 8. Okay?
I just saw a bunch of things.
Well, we're gonna let Rihanna read it for everybody who's watching, and then we'll do it. All right. So paragraph 1. Go ahead, Rihanna.
Market-based economic system. In a market-based economic, also known as free and supply system, most economic decisions are made by individual buyers and sellers acting in their own self-interest. In such a system, the government plays a limited role in determining what goods will be produced, how they will be produced, and for whom they will be produced. Instead, the interactions between buyers and sellers in the marketplace determine the answer to these questions.
All right. So what were the important things that we needed? What needs to be highlighted in this paragraph so that it'll help us fill out our different pieces of this graphic organizer? Remember, we're looking for the name, who makes decisions, the goal, examples, and advantages and disadvantages. Is there anything related to those that we can highlight in this paragraph? And this can be anybody.
Yes.
All right. So what do we need to highlight, Zainel, or is that King?
The government plays a limited role in determining what goods will be produced.
Okay. So the government plays a limited role. What else do we need to highlight, Rihanna or Kenya, Brooklyn, or anybody in the comments?
The first question concerns what types of goods and services to produce.
Okay.
There's some more.
Okay. So here, one at a time for me. What did you say?
I said the first question concerns what types of goods and services to produce.
Okay. What types of goods and services will be produced?
Yeah.
Okay. So these all deal with our 3 questions. Was it Kenya or Rihanna that was jumping in on teams?
Rihanna.
All right, Rihanna, what else do we need to highlight? Brooklyn, you're on page 6 with us?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think we should underline most economic decisions are made by individual buyers and sellers acting in their own self-interest.
Boom. Right? That's a great observation. We also missed this one, right? What's the other name for a market-based economic system?
Buyers and sellers.
Nope.
Free enterprises.
A free enterprise system. All right. So let's take what we highlighted and see where we can put it into our graphic organizer. So everybody, you want to make sure you're still looking at page 6, but we're going to go back to the graphic organizer on page 8. We're in the middle column. I only have one column on my screen, but we're in the middle column. What's the alternate name for a market-based economic system, Brooklyn?
What'd you say?
What's the alternate name for an market-based economic system?
Free enterprise system.
Perfect. All right. So it's also known as a free enterprise system.
Perfect.
So we can add that to our graphic organizer. The alternate name for a market-based system is a free enterprise system. Okay.
Can I take this one?
I'm gonna let Brooklyn do one more, and then we're gonna have you go into our next paragraph. Brooklyn, who decides how to answer the questions? Who makes the decisions? Yes, who makes the decisions in a market-based economy?
Let's see.
So I still have the paragraph up if you want to look at your screen too.
Oh, no. Buyers and sellers.
Buyers and sellers, the individual buyers and sellers who are looking out for themselves, right? That's who makes the decisions, right? Can't buy?
No.
Yes.
No,
Yeah.
they do.
No.
Yes. Yes,
So-
they do.
So when you go to the grocery store, they tell you you only can buy certain things.
Now they tell you not to buy. You going like.
So we're not talking about in the pandemic, right? We're not talking about right now. These are different circumstances. But normally when you go to the store, do they tell you what kind of candy you can buy?
No.
Do they tell you what kind of Lunchable you can buy if you're getting a Lunchable? No, right? So the government doesn't make decisions in the market. It's individual buyers and sellers that are acting in their own self-interest, right?
Hmm.
So that means that any stores can sell whatever they want, and you can buy whatever you want. You are the person who makes decisions in a market-based or free enterprise systems. As long as you have what the sellers are looking for, you as the buyer have just as much power. So in a market-based system, everybody who's on this call, everybody who's on the teams, you have the power and decide what companies make by buying it. If you don't buy it, the company should stop making it. What's your question, Danielle?
Open Brianna door.
Okay.
Good. I was thinking of something.
So say it.
Okay.
So say it and we'll make sense.
All right, so say that you buy like an antidote or something.
An antidote?
See?
What kind of antidote?
No, she ain't put her
Like something that go in food.
Okay, the antidote usually deals with poison.
She can get her ass whooped.
Okay, so you're talking about poisoning somebody?
No.
Okay, so let's try to figure out something else. Let's use a different example, Janelle, to ask your question.
Pineapple.
Okay, let's say a pineapple. Now, what's your question about a pineapple?
Say if somebody buy a pineapple and it's like things on it.
So it's a bad pineapple. So are you saying it's a Nope, I think it's a great question. So if a seller is selling pineapples, right? We're talking about a seller right now. If a seller's selling pineapples, right?
Yeah.
A seller selling pineapples, and the pineapples are bad. Is that in their self-interest to keep selling bad pineapples?
Probably, maybe not.
It's so mute for me, Zanil. Who asked the question? Was it Kenaja? Okay, what was your question?
Actually, I can't hear you because I didn't hear what you just said.
Okay, so Zanil said a pineapple, right? And the pineapples are bad. The pineapples have bugs in them. Is it in the seller's interest to keep selling bad pineapples?
No.
Why? What are you gonna stop doing?
Stop buying them.
You're gonna stop buying them. So the individual buyers, if the person keeps selling bad pineapples, is gonna stop buying. And what's gonna happen to the seller? What are they not gonna be able to make anymore? They're not gonna have any money because nobody's buying their stuff. So sellers have to act in their self-interest by making sure that the buyers keep coming in and buying what they're selling.
And that kiwi.
Right? And that's how a market-based economic system works. Cool?
I mix it in.
Thumbs up if you can they get.
I don't even want this thing. I don't even know what I got.
All right. What'd you say, Zanil?
I'm gonna throw this on Charlie.
Then they fire him because he's selling bad stuff and he's bad stuff.
You don't have to fire him. The people who are buying stuff can fire him by not spending their money there, and then he'll have to make a decision. Okay.
Money.
All right. Let's go ahead and mute. We're gonna go down and we're gonna look at paragraph number 2.
You told me I can read
that. Sure, but make sure that we can hear you. I don't want to have any too much background noise because the people on live can't hear. Okay? So we're in paragraph 2. I need everybody making sure they're looking at paragraph number 2. If you're on live, make sure you're on Teams. You're looking at paragraph 2 on page 6.
And market-based system producers and customers also influence how goods and services are produced. Successful businesses and
What happened? What are you saying, Brooklyn?
Oh, I'm reading.
Okay.
I can't hear.
So we're gonna have Zanel read.
All
right, but you're gonna help me add to the chart. All right, Zanel. Make sure you're loud so everybody can hear you.
In the market-based economies, businesses are motivated by a desire to make a profit because of profit motives. Businesses choose to produce goods and services that consumers signal in the marketplace that they want to buy. If customers indicate through the purchases that they demand smartphones, technology companies will produce smartphones. If they prefer tablets, tech companies will make tablets.
All right, so that's the same thing you just said about the pineapples. If the customers want pineapples, you better sell them good pineapples or they're going to stop buying from you. Right? All right, so I'm going to move on to paragraph number 3 so we can start getting to the goals. The goals. Yes, Kenaja, can you read number 3? Was that Kenaja or Kenya? All right, Kenaja is going to read number 3.
And market systems, producers, and consumers also influence how goods and services are produced. Successful business and market economy work to develop
Production.
method that allows them to maximum profits by lowering costs such innovation
Mm-hmm.
and available them to charge lower prices and interact more consumers
Yep.
than before as a result
Innovations.
innovations and
Inventions.
and common in market-based economic systems in the early 90s.
1900.
Harry Ford recognized that American consumers wanted to purchase audio movies. He responded to that demand by working to find ways to produce audio movies more quickly and at a lower cost as a result of Floyd's development of the assembly line. Audio movies were made available to more American consumers.
All right. So in this paragraph, we find out what the goal of market economies are. Brooklyn, did you notice what the goal of market economies were? What are people in market economies trying to do?
So they trying to like make sure like that.
It's okay. Don't get don't sigh. It's right here in paragraph 3. It tells us what they want to do. It may not be worded like we normally word it, but what's our goal? What are they trying to do?
They trying to like.
Tell me whatever you're thinking, and if it's right, it's great. If it's wrong, we'll figure it out.
I gotta read it real quick.
All right. Would anybody in teams like to comment and tell us what our goal of market economies are? You can just unmute yourself and tell us what our goals are.
Successful business.
What's a successful business? How do you know your business is successful?
By maximizing profits by lowering costs.
Maximizing profits by lowering costs, right? That's how you know your business is successful.
Okay,
right? That's our goal, right?
Yes.
What does maximizing profit mean?
So like they're making the price bigger.
No, they're lowering costs.
What is that?
So the price is not bigger.
People buy it more.
So what does this mean? If you want to maximize profit by lowering cost?
So the people, if you lower the price, people will buy it more. And so.
But why don't you lower it all the way down to 0?
So it can be free.
Wait. Or.
Okay, lower at a set price. Why do you lower the cost but not too low?
So you go get the air freshener out of the bathroom.
I need a little help. So.
Can I drop this?
Absolutely.
I think that they was maximizing profit by lowering the cost. I think they was like, I think they was lowering the cost because I think it wasn't much people buying their food, and so they don't lower the cost to like bring more stuff in the store, maximize profit. If profits like put in sales or food and stuff like that, people would buy more in the store.
Okay, so that's about the price, right? We're talking about the cost. Okay, so Mr. Hamilton is thinking about opening a business. Mr. Hamilton likes to make cookies, right? What are Mr. Hamilton's costs of his business? What do I have to buy in order to sell cookies?
Flour.
I have to buy the ingredients, right? What else do I have to buy?
Cookie dough.
So that's still an ingredient in the cookies. What else do I have to buy?
Or like
Maybe I have to do plates. Maybe I have to have baggies to put the cookies in. But all of that is my cost. A container to put the cookies in. All of that's my cost. That's how much money I have to put in to run my business. What's the profit? Okay, I got a lot of people making a lot of noise, so I just want to make sure. So you said you have to make something back to continue. What is that making something back? What is that making something back? So I have to spend money. We're on examples, right? We're on goals. We're talking about maximizing profits. So I have to spend money. I have to spend money to make money, right? But when I sell my cookies, I have to take my cost out. Everything that's left is my profit. I want to maximize my profit. So what am I maximizing? How much I make, right? So what's my goal? To make what? Money. To make money. To make money. That's my goal. So the goal in a market economy is to make money. That's the only goal, to make money. Brooklyn, are you singing?
Huh?
Are you singing? All right. So yes, I hear the background. I hear everybody's background. All right. That's kind of my dad. Okay. So when you're not commenting, if you can mute, then we wouldn't hear it. Okay. All right. So the goal of market economy is to maximize profits and to make money. That's our goal. To make money. That's the goal of a market economy, to make money. Cool? Yeah. All right. So market-based economic systems, we've done the alternate name. We talked about who makes decisions, and we talked about the goal. What you need to do on your own is give examples from the article. So you're going to finish reading the article. You're going to come up with 2 examples of market economies, 2 advantages of market economies, and 2 disadvantages of market economies. Does everybody understand what you're going to do for the rest of this activity? Yes. Give me some thumbs up in the live. Oh, keep this or give me some hearts in the live so I know you know what you need to do. We've already done the first part together. You're going to do the second half on your own. Okay, I have a question. Absolutely, I got an answer. Can you explain page 4? I'll go back and explain 4. I just want to make sure everybody knows what they need to do on page 8. We still on page 8? We're talking about page 8 right now. That's what this article is. And I'll go back to 4. All right, so most of the people in live know what they're doing on page 8. All right, we did the command system on Tuesday. We started with the market system today, but you're going to finish it up on your own, and you're going to take a picture and send it to me. All right, now somebody asked about page 4. So I'm going to stop sharing so you can see what we're supposed to do. All right, so this is our packet. If you go to page 3, there's an article entitled 3 Economic Questions. There's about 5 paragraphs or 6 paragraphs. You're going to read those paragraphs. Yes.
You want me to stay on this live thing?
If you don't want to, you can go off.
All right.
But thank you for your help.
You're welcome.
All right, so on page 3, we have an article titled 3 Economic Questions. You're going to read that article. It has some of the vocabulary words we talked about: productive resources, scarcity, and the economies. After you read that article, page 4 is just a summary of it, but it's saying tweet it right? Just like you'll be writing a tweet. Some of you have Twitter, some of you don't. That's just asking you to limit your comment to 280 characters. So as few words as possible while still making sense. Does that make sense? That's all it is a summary. It just gives you a limit.
Okay.
Make sense?
Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to finish up by going back to our calendar. And again, this is going to be in Canvas. This is going to be on Teams, and this is going to be in on IG. This is your calendar. This is to make sure you get everything you need to get done. On Monday is the 27th. Everything above this line you should have done. You need to finish your because, but, so sentence completions. You need to finish the graphic organizer on page 8, and you need to finish your tweet summary. All of that should be done by Monday, and hopefully you'll get that to me over the weekend.
Because, but, and so what page is?
That's on page 8. That's on page 8. So it gives you
all that information from up top.
Yeah, it's all up top. It's all the because, but, so is based on the articles on 6 and 7. Okay?
Yes.
All right. So you're going to make sure you get those 3 assignments done by Monday. Okay?
Yeah.
We've done some of them together. You're going to do everything else on your own. It's going to be due by Monday. And I want to see some DMs or some emails with your work. Cool?
Yes.
All right. Do I have any questions?
No.
Any questions on live?
No.
All right. So I'm going to stop sharing. All right. So that's all I have for you today. It's been a fun time. I'm so glad that everybody came in. I miss you all. If you have any questions, remember, send me a DM. Send me a message in Teams, and I will respond ASAP. Cool? Okay. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and let you all go. Thank you for participating. Hey, Ms. Kane, I didn't know you were here. Thank you, everybody on live. I'm going to post this video in Canvas so that you know what we're doing. Cool?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah.
So thank you all. I'm going to end my live session. And if you're on Teams, have a great day. And I will talk to you on Tuesday.
You too. Bye.
Bye.